morning and welcome to year number 4 of Pitt to the Point. I'm Lily Peters.
And I'm Natalie Silberman. Pitt to the Point is your weekly 1-hour news and magazine program that airs live right here from the state-of-the-art Pitt Studios.
Pitt to the Point covers everything from the University of Pittsburgh as well as national and international events, news, people, and stories.
We're back with your favorite segments such as Alumni Spotlight and Clubbing at Pitt, which showcases one of our amazing student-run clubs here.
And we'll tell you stories from our incredible University of Pittsburgh regional campuses. And Crossing Over at Pitt is back to show you how different departments at Pitt collaborate on the most innovative teaching in the country.
We have some new segments too, including MVP, Most Valuable Professors, and you'll love our Pitt in the Wild feature.
And we will be joined live by our affiliate college and high school partners and their student anchors who will tell you what's going on in their schools and communities. Now we are statewide from Pittsburgh to Lancaster to Philadelphia.
And of course, we'll continue to bring you the most up-to-date news from the world of politics, sports, medicine, and entertainment in the City of Pittsburgh and at the University of Pittsburgh. China is back with new tariffs on American imports, escalating trade tensions with the U.S.
Starting Monday, China will impose a 15% tariff on coal and liquefied gas, plus a 10% tariff on crude oil, agricultural machinery, and large engine cars. The move follows President Donald Trump's latest tariffs on Chinese products.
While the impact on U.S. imports may be limited, automakers like General Motors and Ford could take a hit. Analysts warn this could start a full-blown trade war, slowing global growth and rising inflation.
Meanwhile, Trump has delayed tariffs on Canada and Mexico for 30 days, and a call with Chinese President Xi Jinping is expected soon.
Olympia, Washington has officially declared itself a sanctuary city for LGBTQIA+ individuals, joining a small group of jurisdictions nationwide.
The City Council passed the resolution Tuesday, reaffirming Olympia's commitment to safety and inclusivity. Assistant City Manager Ray called it a reflection of the community's values.
The resolution affirms LGBTQIA+ rights, opposes restrictive legislation, and pledges ongoing dialogue with community leaders. Mayor Dante Payne, who is a part of the LGBTQIA+ community, called it a historic moment, but stressed the fight is far from over.
Local groups, including PFLAG, praised nothing but an increase in families moving to Olympia from states with restrictive laws.
New York Governor Kathy Hochul has signed a law to protect doctors who prescribe abortion pills.
The law allows doctors to have their names removed from prescription labels, replacing them with healthcare practices names.
This move comes after Dr. Margaret Carpenter was indicted in Louisiana for prescribing abortion pills to a minor.
Medication abortions, now the most common method of abortion in the U.S., remain the center of legal battles nationwide.
Delaware County commuters will have a challenging time getting to work this morning after yesterday's SEPTA train fire.
The incident occurred last night near the Kremlin station in Ridley Park. 350 people were aboard the train, which was heading to Wilmington, Delaware. There's no injuries. Buses transported the passengers to their destinations.
According to SEPTA spokesperson Andrew Bush, the fire began in the first car of the 6-car train.
The fire caused some major delays and some cancellations from Philadelphia to New Jersey.
A sudden death of a Pennsylvania representative has resulted in the 35th District special election. For more on that, we turn to our political reporter, Ryan Terabocchia. Ryan?
Pennsylvania's 35th District will be holding a special election due to the recent passing of Democrat Matt Gurgley. Gurgley's sudden and tragic passing leaves his seat vacant in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. The House is now at a deadlock and will be holding their first special election of 2025. There were only 4 in 2024.
A special election will be held on March 25th in the 35th District of Pennsylvania. The election will be held due to the recent passing of Democrat Matt Gurgley on January 19th. Gurgley suffered a medical emergency prior to the new year. His family has opted to not disclose any further personal details. Gurgley, 45 years old, served his community for years prior to being elected. He was extremely respected by not only his fellow members of the House, but also his community. Gurgley, a McKeesport native, had served since February of 2023 after winning a special election due to Austin Davis being appointed Lieutenant Governor of Pennsylvania. With Gurgley's seat now vacant, the House has been in a deadlock at 101-101. This deadlock will prevent any side from passing legislation without receiving an outside-of-party vote. Republicans currently do hold the Pennsylvania Senate. Two candidates have been named, with Republicans electing Charles Davis as their candidate on January 31st. Charles Davis served on the White Oak Borough Council for over 20 years. On Saturday, February 1st, it was announced that the ballot will feature Democrat Daniel E. Gonauer to face Davis. Gonauer has served as a police officer in McKeesport. Voters located in the 35th District will have until March 10th to register to vote for their desired candidate.
The next month and a half will be a difficult time for the House, as they will not only have trouble passing legislation amidst a time period where Governor Josh Shapiro will be ever so active, but also now having to mourn Gurgley's death. With Pitt to the Point, I'm political reporter Ryan Tarabokia. Natalie, Lily.
Yeah, Ryan. So, special elections, you can never really know what to expect timeline-wise. Do you have any idea how this one in the 35th District might shape out?
Well, normally with special elections, whatever party held that seat will win. So Daniel Gonauer does have a better shot than Davis, but it could honestly go either way. Natalie, Lily.
Thanks, Ryan. And that's where our newspaper, the Pitt News, comes in.
Here are the top headlines from our award-winning newspaper. It is on the Pitt News on Pitt to the Point. Sorry,
No, it's fine.
I thought you were.
Student government board elections are coming up, with executive and board positions on the ballot. Students will be able to vote for the president, the primary advocate of the student body, vice president, who oversees sessions of the executive board, as well as 7 board positions. Campaign season officially began on Wednesday, and students can vote via electronic ballot on March 11th. February marks National Black History Month, and Pitt is honoring it with a series of events throughout the month. On February 20th, students can join the Black Action Society for an open mic night, where they can celebrate the work of Black creators through poetry, song, and dance. On February 22nd, the Black Choir of Pittsburgh will host a celebration of Black musical heritage at Eastminster Presbyterian Church. To end the month, Pitt will host its annual Leroy Irvis celebration, honoring the Pitt alumnus who became the first Black Speaker of the Pennsylvania House by recognizing 7 members of the community for acts of volunteerism and dedication to social justice. The Year of the Snake is upon us, and the University Library System celebrates with a Beyond the Page exhibit on January 29th, which explored Hillman Library's collection of East Asian book culture and printing technology. The exhibit's curators, Run Xiaozhu and Hiroki Good, unveiled historical texts and technology from the 12th to the 20th centuries and examined their cultural significance. Additionally, the Asian Studies Center hosted a Lunar New Year celebration in Posver Hall on January 22nd.
Baseball fans won't have to wait much longer for the start of the 2025 season. Pitchers and catchers report to spring training camps in Arizona and Florida this month, leading up to opening day on March 27th.
The Chicago Cubs and Los Angeles Dodgers, who will play a 2-game series in Japan on March 18th and 19th, will be among the first to arrive, with the Cubs reporting on February 9th and other teams following beginning the 11th, with full squad workouts taking place between February 15th and 18th.
And with the MLB season upon us, it must mean that football season is wrapping up. For more on the upcoming big game, City Sports reporter Grace Lombardo has more. Grace?
Before we talk about the big game, Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback Russell Wilson reportedly will not re-sign with the team after just one season. Analysts predict that the team will look towards Atlanta Falcons quarterback Kirk Cousins, but nothing is yet confirmed. The Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs will meet at Superbowl 59 on Fox this Sunday, February 9th at 6:30 p.m. The team met just 2 years ago in the 2023 big game, the Chiefs taking home the win in the coveted Lombardi Trophy. This year's game will feature 4 former Pittsburgh Steelers. For the Eagles, Kenny Pickett, former Pitt Panther as well, Fred Johnson, LaRaven Clark, and for the Chiefs, Juju Smith-Schuster.
The Philadelphia Eagles and Kansas City Chiefs will take each other on this Sunday, February 9th at Super Bowl 59 on Fox.
Mahomes looking that way, throwing that way. Kelsey got it. Touchdown. Hurts has all day, loaded up, taking a shot, looking for A.J. Brown. He's got it. Touchdown. Hurts on a quarterback draw. Nowhere to go. The ball is loose. Sitting on the turf. It's picked up by Bolton. No one in front of him is going to score.
Their last meeting on the biggest stage in the NFL was just 2 years ago in 2023, with the Chiefs taking the game with a final score of 38-35. This rendition of the big game will feature former Pittsburgh Steeler Kenny Pickett as backup quarterback for the Eagles.
Be really happy and is open about that. That is Dickerson. Pickett, deep ball. He's got Smith. It's a perfect throw and a touchdown.
Football fans are eager to watch this matchup against the Chiefs and the Eagles on Sunday, February 9th.
I personally am very excited to tune into this Super Bowl 59 on Fox. And just for this weekend, I'm going to be a Philadelphia Eagles fan. In the world of hockey, the NHL will be hosting the Four Nations Tournament. The tournament will feature 4 teams, each representing a different country: the USA, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. The USA will be captained by Toronto Maple Leaf Austin Matthews. Canada will be captained by our Penguins captain Sidney Crosby. Sweden will be captained by Alexander Barkov of the Florida Panthers, which will also feature Erik Karlsson and Rickard Rakell of our Penguins. And Team Finland will be captained by Victor Hedman of the Tampa Bay Lightning. The games will be played through February 20th, with Penguins fans hoping the momentum from the tournament and playing for their countries will provide some more momentum in the season, as the Penguins have been struggling. From Pitt to the Point, I'm City Sports reporter Grace Lamberto. Lily, Natalie.
Thanks, Grace. You showed a lot with us. I wanted to circle back to your first story about Russell Wilson, obviously one of the biggest headlines right now in football. You're from Pittsburgh. You're a Pittsburgh native. Who do you want to see as the next Steelers quarterback?
It's tough to say. Kirk Cousins has been in the outs this past season with the Falcons, so it would be really cool to see him play. I'm excited to see what their moves are in the offseason.
Perfect. Thanks, Grace. When we return, a special guest will be joining us for a live interview.
And later, we'll be joined by our affiliate, Lancaster High School, for our special college and high school segment.
All that when we return on Pitt to the Point.
Part of the University of Pittsburgh is the Cathedral of Learning.
There's a lot you can say about this place. Gritty? Well, we prefer tough. Resilient. Innovative, of course. We are part of the city that built the backbone of America, and now we're making it bend and flex in every which way.
Your time at Pitt has also prepared you for what is possible.
But there's one thing you can't deny. When the world needs something, we find a way to give it to them. Whether that's defeating a crippling disease,
Salt's exhausting labors had paid off.
or fighting off the world's next life-threatening illness, we focus our eyes and attention on the ones who need us most, day in and far out.
The Pittsburgh Panthers are the National Collegiate Champions.
So the question we have to deal with is, can we work and build together even when we're different?
All this comes naturally when you've built a foundation on community in a city that feels more like a family at a time when there's basically no other choice. So yeah, there's a lot you can say about this place. But this is what we know. We know that we've earned more than $1 billion in research funding just this year alone. We know that we're breaking ground for more groundbreaking innovation. We know that if you throw a problem our way, we'll do the work to solve it.
You are here, standing, greeted by the end of one journey and the beginning of the next.
We know that it's possible at Pitt.
There is no patent. Could you patent the sun?
Thanks for tuning back in to Pitt to the Point. Happen to watch a story today that piques your curiosity? Want to find more about what's going on in Pittsburgh? Visit our website.
That's right. If you want to find more about the world of politics, medicine, business, technology, and more, log on to pittothepoint.com. Not only can you see clips from today's show, but you can also read about the topics that interest you and more. Check it out on our website.
Pitt has such a strong alumni network, and we'd love to feature this proud Panther on Pitt to the Point.
Our Pitt Beat reporter, Katie Pearson, is joined by Pitt alum Ben Asuda, a 2023 graduate who's made a remarkable leap from the University of Pittsburgh to the iconic Saturday Night Live. Katie?
Thank you, Lily. Now, it's not often that you get to meet someone whose coworkers include Keenan Thompson, Kate McKinnon, and Colin Yost. However, today's guest has that bragging right. But sometimes I need a refresher on exactly what show he's working on. Maybe this will jog my memory.
And live from New York, it's Saturday night!
And live from New York, it's Saturday night!
See, now, while we may be in Pittsburgh, we're not in New York. We are live from Pittsburgh. It is Friday morning, and I am joined by the wonderful Ben Asuda. Ben, thank you so much for
Thanks
joining
for having
us
me.
today.
This is great.
Of course. And so, like mentioned earlier, you are a Pitt alum. And can you describe how Pitt has helped you get to where you are today?
I mean, in numerous ways. It's been beneficial since the first day I got here as a freshman. My sister ended up coming here, and I followed in her footsteps. And I've had the chance to have my own fellowship and create my own documentary, go to Los Angeles and be a part of the Pitt in LA program, develop my own podcast and interview a lot of Pitt alum that came through and went from Pitt to entertainment like myself, and had the chance to really connect with a large alumni network, which I think is super important. And I'm so happy everyone's giving back and doing the most, and that's really what a Pitt family is all about. So
Exactly. And now you get to be part of that alumni network. And so while you were at Pitt, you got to work on the university's student-run late-night talk show, Pitt Tonight. Did working on this show influence your career path?
Totally. I mean, it introduced me to the world of late night, and just the fact that comedy's at the center of it just makes, I think, the whole experience a lot more fun and working there all the time. So I started as a production assistant there my freshman year, and then eventually had the chance to be the executive producer for my last 2 years. And I mean, that was a remarkable experience. We had the chance to have the former chancellor on, Chancellor Gallagher, as part of the show. And there was a lot of highlights, and just being introduced to that world where comedy's at the center of it, where it's live, and when you're in front of an audience that's testing whether you're funny or not. I mean, that kind of pressure really prepared me for what I'm doing now.
And so for most people working in the entertainment industry, there's not a linear path to success. What kind of challenges did you face while breaking into this industry?
Well, I think it's either New York or LA. And when it comes to New York, everything's about production, because there's different levels of the production process. But in terms of physical production, that's where it really exists in New York. And pretty much, outside of SNL, I do a lot of commercial work, and I do a lot of other short films and indie work. And it's really about availability, and that's really tough in terms of meeting the right people, and then having that first job that takes you to the second job and takes you to your third. Because when I have to sustain myself on that sort of income, which is freelance income, it can be a little challenging if you don't have the right connection. So making sure you're upkeeping that and keeping yourself busy, I mean, that's a challenge you still have to deal with today. So.
And so even through those challenges, you still made it to SNL and you've had the chance to work on some pretty cool shoots. Do you have any favorites that stick out?
I think my two favorites have been definitely the first day I got there, which was the Pete Davidson he was hosting for the season 49 premiere. And we recreated the entire Barbie world for I'm Just Pete, which was a spinoff of I'm Just Ken. So seeing them pretty much construct the entire thing overnight and then build this world, and we did a whole dance routine with big choreography. So seeing that in action was awesome. And then this season, I had the chance to be a part of the new opening title sequence for season 50. So we had 4 p.m. to 4 a.m. nights all over the city, just shooting different parts of the city and highlighting new cast members and old cast members. And it's pretty remarkable because it is the 50th season. So being a part of that was amazing.
That's what we like to hear. But in your role as a production assistant, you can get thrown into a lot of different things. You wear a lot of different hats. But if you had to describe it, what would a typical day in that role look like for you?
Yeah, there's a lot of hustle and bustle to it. And you really are a part of a lot of different departments at the same time. And, Thursday is when production really starts. So that's when I get there. And it's pretty much, I help out the art department. So we're going around the city, running around, getting different types of props that are going to be on air. So anything from like a coffee cup to a fake tree, pretty much. So running around, getting the necessary resources to make that possible and make the shot. And the production design as good as it could be. So that's Thursday for me. And then, that's a late day. And then Friday, coming super early to build overnight. And then by the time I get there, we start shooting. So it's normally what you would see from a movie and TV set, and just calling rolls and cuts and actions and everything like that, and really making the most out of the day, making it most efficient, supporting every other department, and that that can range from like a 12-hour day to an 18-hour day. So you get your money's worth for sure.
And so in this role, even though you've been in the industry just for a few years, do you have any advice that you would give those looking to break into entertainment?
Yeah, something I live by is don't be afraid to take chances. I think that is something I was told really early on, and it rings true still. I mean, if you're worried about maybe reaching out to someone you're not too comfortable with because they have a higher position, I think 9 times out of 10, if they say yes, then 10 times out of 10 they're gonna make sure that they support you and help you and give you the best advice. So just don't be afraid to take chances and meet the next person and move forward with your career.
That is a great piece of advice. And now my last question, I've been
Sure.
hearing a rumor that you are making your return to Pitt tonight this weekend. Can you confirm or deny this?
The rumor is correct. Yeah, I'll be there on Saturday night at the Charity Randall Theater. They're going to have me on as a guest. So it's going to be quite the homecoming for me. And I'm super excited to see all my old Pitt Tonight members and have a little bit of fun.
Awesome. Well, Ben, thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you.
And if you are interested in seeing more of Ben today, please check him out at Pitt Tonight tomorrow night. For Pitt to the Point, I'm Pitt Beat reporter Katie Pearson. Lily, Natalie.
Thanks, Katie. This week, our alumni spotlight are highlighting Amy Liebman.
This Pitt alum has an organization for protecting migrant rights and has won a big award for her work.
So I chose Pitt for a lot of reasons, but one of the aspects of Pitt that I loved was its Latin American Studies program.
While many Pitt alum become successful, some also find a way to give back, like Amy Liebman, who focuses her efforts on helping America's migrant workers.
So my name is Amy Liebman, and I am the Chief Program Officer at Migrant Clinicians Network. I am a third-generation immigrant, and my grandmother and my grandfather, they all came to this country to essentially help make us what we are today. They worked in factories, they worked unloading trucks, they worked sewing clothes, and all with the idea of making a better life here for themselves and for their families, and ultimately for our country.
It's because of Amy's interest in immigrant rights that led her to Pitt.
I was very interested both in political science, but also in studying Latin America. And Pitt had one of the best Latin American studies programs in the country. And so a lot of my work now involves thinking about policies, thinking about the work that clinicians do, and thinking about ways within the workplace that workers can make themselves safer.
Amy's program has won several awards, most recently with the Shelley Davis Humanitarian Award.
And, I come to work every day wanting to make our world a better place. I have a belief that we can make the world better for people who are working hard to put food on our table, build our houses, clean our homes, take care of our children.
Amy continues her work at MCN to ensure America gives equal opportunity to all.
Well, Lily, today is an exciting day.
How so?
Well, today is our first college and high school remote segment.
That's really cool. Who do we have joining us today, Natalie?
Well, they're experts in vlogging, and they just wrapped up a school project where they made commercials for fake products using AI.
It's very timely. Where are they coming from? Is it somewhere close to Pittsburgh?
Actually, they'll be joining us from across the state, and we have Lancaster High School. Hey, Jack. Hey, Alicia. What's going on, guys?
School broadcasting team, and we are excited to be with you today.
Lancaster Catholic is a medium-sized private school in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. However, we have many interesting electives for students to enjoy. One of these is the history of rock and roll.
There, students learn how music is used to invoke emotion and how rock music has evolved over time. Christian Zachary of our digital video class took a closer look at this exciting elective. Let's check it out.
Want to learn about one of the world's most revolutionary genres of music? Well, get ready to turn the volume and step into the world of rock and roll. Mrs. Pekarek's History of Rock and Roll elective will lead you through enticing discussions of iconic bands, artists, and songs. They even rank lists of their favorite songs and argue over whose is the best. They learn about the history of famous rock bands and singers and how they became popular in the rock and roll industry. Today, students listened to music and made visual illustrations of what the sounds made them feel.
A lot of what we cover is like how jazz music and R&B music turned into rock and roll. We focus on like the different sections of rock and roll once we get into like 70s and 80s. Anybody that takes my class, you can ask. We spend a good majority of time on the Beatles with the 1960s and early 1970s. I really want the students to be able to take their own musical taste and be able to see how what they like now was transformed because of rock and roll and because of music transforming.
As a student who was given a sneak peek into what this class is like, I only have good things to say. For Lancaster Catholic Morning Show, I'm Christian Zachary.
Thanks, Christian. The history of rock and roll is just one of the many electives that are offered here at Lancaster Catholic.
I know that there might be some more questions from you guys about what we do here, and we would love to hear them.
Thanks, Jack and Alicia. So I watched your story yesterday. It was so well done. So good job editing it. You guys have such good on-air personalities. I loved learning about the class. And Jack, I know we talked before the show today that you took the class last year. So can you kind of talk about your favorite parts of the class and just favorite aspects of learning in that environment?
Yes, of course. One thing I love about the rock and roll class, it's just a very welcoming environment. There you can learn about everyone else's music taste and more about yours, and just learning about the past decades, bands like Fleetwood Mac, the Beatles, learning about their history was just a very fun and a great experience for me.
Yeah, I mean, and you just mentioned bands that are from the 70s, 80s. Do you have a favorite that you learned about, and do you think it's important for kids to know? You keep shouting out Fleetwood Mac, and I just love it because of Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
So, do you have a favorite, or
It's got to be Fleetwood Mac. If you don't know, they have a very interesting history, a lot of drama. It's kind of like a soap opera learning about them. So that was really fun to learn about. And yeah, it's got to be Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah. And Alicia, you mentioned you actually hadn't taken the class, but your friends had. Would you want to take it maybe in the future? And do you think it's important for other kids at Lancaster Catholic to take it?
Oh, yeah. I think, excuse me. If you're interested in video media of any kind or like audio, so like learning how to make music, it is definitely very important to take this class because you learn how those two interlock. You also learn how it has evolved over time. I would say it's important because it's a different kind of class. Like instead of having like a flipped schedule where you take home a textbook and learn and then practice it in class or vice versa, you're actually learning through a sort of entertainment structure. You listen to the music and then you learn about yourself through that music, which I think that's a very unique way to teach. You're still learning, you're still taking a class, you're still learning, but it's more fun that way.
Perfect. Thank you, Alicia and Jack. I hope you and everyone at Lancaster Catholic has a great day today.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. You too.
Kendo Club, concerts, art festivals, and more.
See what we're talking about when we return to Pitt to the Point.
You have to throw caution to the wind. Know you're capable.
There's possible.
The University of Pittsburgh.
And then there's our kind of possible. The kind that changes the face of medicine, tech, and learning.
It might have been called a miracle.
Because when we say it's possible at Pitt, we mean it. And the proof is in the people. Like Rachel Fairbanks, our top of the class and top of the game athlete of the year, who's serving nothing but excellence. Fulbrights, we're full of them. From BB to Jasmine to the next 250, including 10 in the past year alone.
It's really part of that bolstering of our global reputation.
Possible lives inside everyone at Pitt, from every corner of every campus. Like the McGowan Institute, where they are rethinking, researching, and completely revolutionizing how the body heals through a novel approach to regenerative medicine. All led by visionaries like Dr. Chandan Sen.
You can generate tissue types without using stem cells. And now we know that it's possible. That will completely change the paradigm of healthcare.
Our kind of possible paves the way through selfless action and giving.
We all come together with a shared goal of giving today to transform tomorrow.
Ever see 11,000 Proud fuel this much opportunity in 24 hours? We have. And you're about to see it too. In the progress all around you. As our people continue to bring our vision and our promise to life. In newer, bigger, and bolder ways. It's possible at Pitt.
Welcome to the Pitt News, the University of Pittsburgh's daily student newspaper. Through the collaboration of our editorial, marketing, and sales departments, we consistently produce award-winning content and provide our students with invaluable professional experience. The success of the Pitt News comes from our students, and we are proud of the legacy we have created for over 100 years.
Hello and welcome back to Pitt to the Point.
The show has flown by today, but don't fret, we will be back with you at the same time next week, and the week after that, and the week after that.
Pitt to the Point airs every Friday morning at 8 a.m. on the amazing University of Pittsburgh website, the Pitt to the Point website, and our YouTube channel. You can also find a taped version of the show on Pittsburgh's CBSN, which is KDK's TV streaming platform, on Saturday at noon.
And we're so excited to say that you can also catch a re-airing of today's Pitt to the Point in Philly every Saturday at noon on CBS Philadelphia's streaming platform.
Black History Month takes place this month. Its annual celebration honors the contributions and achievements of African Americans in this country.
This year's themes highlights African American and labor, exploring the ways that work has shaped the experience of Black Americans.
In honor of Black History Month, Pittsburgh is celebrating a significant piece of its cultural history. The National Negro Opera and the National Opera House are showcasing valuable memorabilia at the City County Building through February. Our City Beat reporter, Clara O'Bannon, has more. Clara?
You gotta tell us though when that's happening. Well, he does. Like, we're looking stupid.
No, it's okay. That was my bad.
So Mary Caldwell Dawson did two main things in the world, and I really wanted to showcase both of them. She changed jazz in the world forever, which people don't realize. The top jazz musicians were taught by her in her music school. So we wanted to have live jazz so people can understand that Pittsburgh was one of the center of jazz, and it started with her, even though she's known for opera. And we wanted people to experience opera live because opera has a stigma of being so many things. Half of them, they're true. However, it's a very, very beautiful art form, and the ability to tell story through song, through this operatic lens is something I do think people should experience. We wanted people to experience that outside of a 4-hour grand opera.
Janae's main mission with the National Opera House is to restore the historical Apple Street structure the NNOC called home. The house and all the treasures inside hold stories, most of which are Mary Caldwell Dawson doing what she did best, being bold.
One story is Mary Caldwell Dawson put Eleanor Roosevelt on her board as the president of the board. And Eleanor Roosevelt said, "I am not on your board. Can you please remove me?" And Mary Caldwell Dawson said, "No."
Thanks to Janae's hard work and Mary Caldwell Dawson's legacy, February 3rd is now National Negro Opera Company Day. The special moment was announced at the showcase's opening reception on Monday.
To get that 25 years later, and everyone that worked with me, all of the people on my team that was in that video have passed away. It's like so sad that they didn't see the hard work of that day, but it just means a lot.
The goal is to introduce Pittsburgh to the music and memories the house has to offer. I'm Clara O'Bannon. Natalie, Lily.
Thanks, Clara. Such a great story for you to show. Can you kind of talk about why it's important for local cities such as Pittsburgh to represent Black History Month through different events?
Yes, I'm talking about this with Janae. She's saying cities like Pittsburgh can be a little bit narrow-minded when it comes to things like Black History Month. And she says it's great to have things
like this. Really?
Thanks, Clara. If you're looking for a challenge that it combines physical strength with mental, just look no further than the Kendo Club.
The Kendo Club at Pitt promotes this Japanese martial arts, focusing on both technical skills and whether you're a beginner or an experienced practitioner. The club offers a develop and embrace of the Kendo Art Club, and here's what they're all about.
It started with an Instagram post from Pitt Barstool. The various commenters seemed confused, so I set out to discover what this archaic, ancient, forbidden art really was.
I usually say it's like Japanese fencing.
I just say it's Japanese fencing. Have you ever heard of it?
We usually start off by saying Japanese martial arts, like fencing.
Kendo, or the Way of the Sword, is a modern Japanese martial art descended from kenjutsu, or a form of swordsmanship practiced by samurai in feudal-era Japan. Why are people practicing it in 2025 in Pittsburgh? Mostly thanks to Pitt PhD student Maura McGrath.
Last year, when I got to Pitt, there was not an active undergraduate Kendo club. And so I founded this last spring with several of our current members, and I now act as their coach. I've been now doing it for over a decade, and I thought this is a good opportunity to give back and give the undergraduates the guidance I never got.
One person who was very thankful McGrath came to town is Julia Hoffman, now the club's president.
I
I just started last spring semester. We made the club, well, our sensei Mora did. And like previous to this, I had seen there was an old club and it had discontinued, and I had still seen its website. So I was really excited. I met Mora putting up flyers for the club. I was like, oh, I'm definitely going to be a part of this.
Julia also manages the club's Instagram and says that the post was a huge boon for them.
One of the other students contacted me and they're like, oh, I saw the post on Barstool. I was like, what? Someone had recorded us during practice and it received a lot of likes and like people sending it to other people. So we're really excited that Kendo got out there a little more.
As for any prospective Blade Masters, the club says all you need is a willingness to show up and a good attitude.
Like, even if you're terrible at Kendo, even if you don't know what you're doing, as long as you show like respect or that you show that you're willing to learn, then it's like you're going to get the help that you need.
And you rarely get an opportunity as an adult to be enthusiastically bad at something. And so doing that by learning a new sport, making new friends, and taking on leadership in a club like this is the best thing you can do as an undergraduate. If you want to scream and hit people, this is the best place.
The Three River Arts Festival is returning for its 66th year, and this time with some exciting changes.
Well, the festival is usually 10 days long and held in downtown Pittsburgh. This year, it will be held from June 5th to June 8th at the 15th Street Plaza along Waterfront Place into the Strip District. The location change is underway for its permanent spot in the Cultural District. Entertainment reporter Morgan Whifflong has the details on what to expect from this year's festival. Morgan?
Thanks, Lily. Pittsburgh's Three Rivers Arts Festival is making its return this summer for its 66th year, but not how it has in the past. This year, there have been some temporary changes made to this annual festival. But despite these changes, there's still so much to do and so much to see, and the tradition continues in the Steel City.
The Three Rivers Arts Festival is a free outdoor festival composed of visual and performance art, food and drink vendors, and live performances. The festival usually lasts 10 days and takes place in downtown Pittsburgh. However, this year, it is making its return with some adjustments. The festival will be taking place only from June 5th to the 8th and in a new location. This year, the Three Rivers Arts Festival will be held at the 15th Street Plaza along Waterfront Place in the Strip District due to construction and projects going on in the city. This construction is the preparation of the future home for the Three Rivers Arts Festival. After this year, the location of the festival is planned to be on the 8th Street Block Civic Space in the Cultural District. This space will be able to be used for other events in the city, and it is the hope that it will be ready for the 2026 festival. In the past, there have been hundreds of artists either performing live or displaying their art in stands. The list of artists is said to be released in the spring and include many favorites from past festivals. Kelsey James, a singer and artist, joined the festival in 2020 on a scholarship and has been setting up her booth ever since. She repurposes records, which combines her love for music and art to create beautiful pieces that she brings to the festival.
But since I'm a musician and I like to collect vinyl, I like that I can take those, instead of them being pushed aside and not being used anymore, I can give them a new life.
And she keeps a positive attitude about the changes this year.
It's good to try something different. I'm going to embrace the shorter time span with it.
Even though this year might look a little different for the Three Rivers Arts Festival, it still keeps the tradition alive 66 years later.
The festival will be taking place from June 5th to the 8th at the 15th Street Plaza along Waterlong Place in the Strip District. And even though it might not be in its traditional location and the duration might be cut down, the Three Rivers Arts Festival still makes its return and continues to live on in the Steel City. For Pitt to the Point, I'm entertainment reporter Morgan Wilfong. Natalie, Lily?
So, it sounds like an awesome event. What do you think, though, Morgan, is going to be the most exciting part of the festival?
That's a great question. I think there's so many amazing elements to it, whether it's like the actual artwork that you're looking at or visual live performances. I know they have had a lot of amazing artists in the past, so I think that'll be really cool to see who's in the lineup this year. Natalie, Lily?
Thanks, Morgan. Now, not quite a slam dunk.
And a perfect new spot is opening up right here in PGH.
All that and more when we return.
Time for your next adventure.
I have no idea what I'm going to do tomorrow. How exciting.
In a few moments, you are going to participate in our formal convocation ceremony, and it will be the official beginning of your Pitt journey. Academic traditions have a long history, and with this ceremony, you will become part of that history.
Thank you so much for tuning back in to Pitt to the Point. Now, Pitt basketball is in the midst of ACC play, but the run might have some struggles late in the season.
And with spring sports just around the corner, including baseball, softball, and lacrosse, there is a lot to look forward to. Our Pitt sports reporter, Noah Dan, is here with the latest. Hi, Noah.
Hi, thanks, guys. The Pitt men's basketball season is over halfway through, and they've definitely had a rocky year. This includes this past Monday when the team played the University of Virginia Cavaliers. After the game, head coach Jeff Capel spoke to the press about this grueling defeat.
Pitt men's basketball has gotten off to a bumpy. Pitt men's basketball has gotten off to a bumpy start. The team, currently 14-8 overall and 5-6 in the ACC, has faced some ups and downs. The season so far has been highlighted by stellar play from guards Ishmael Leggett and Jalon Lowe, as well as forward Zach Austin. This all came crashing down this past Monday after the team's loss to Virginia. Head coach Jeff Capel spoke to the press and had this to say after the game.
Really disappointed in our performance. This is probably as bad of a performance of any team I've ever coached. And it was embarrassing. And I'm sorry to the crowd, students, fans. It's my responsibility. I have to do a better job of making sure we're ready to go.
Jeff Capel's apology came after Virginia outshot Pitt 28-18, making 4 more three-pointers. Virginia guard Day-Day Ames scored a season-high 27 points while collecting 2 rebounds and 2 assists. Virginia forward Blake Buchanan also recorded a double-double. After a slow start by Pitt's offense, the team trailed 34-19 at halftime, a season low for the Panthers. In the second half, Pitt tried to mount a comeback, but it was too little, too late. Jorge Diaz-Graham scored 9 points off the bench, while Ishmael Leggett went 7 for 11 with 17 points. Another highlight for Pitt included Zach Austin, who recorded 5 total rebounds. The Cavaliers went on a 17-point run, which is the 10th largest unanswered run by any opponent in Pitt history. Capel went on to say that Virginia, quote, manhandled Pitt. He also added that the team was bad in every aspect of the game of basketball. The final score of the game was Virginia 73, Pitt 57. This marks the team's 6th loss in the last 8 games. The team looks to bounce back from this loss as they played their first game since then tomorrow at UNC.
The Pitt men's basketball season continues, but we also take a look now at the spring sports such as baseball, softball, and lacrosse that are starting either this week or next here at the university. This includes softball, which begins today, February 7th versus Kentucky, lacrosse, which begins February 8th, which is tomorrow, against St. Bonaventure, and continues with baseball, which begins next Friday, February 14th versus Eastern Michigan. All 3 of these teams look to have a successful season. Lily, Natalie?
Thanks, Noah. A new spot in Bellevue is offering a perfect way to relax, work, and make a difference for homeless cats. Whisker Wonderland is a cat lounge, cafe, and adoption center that just opened its doors this month.
The space not only provides a cozy environment for cat lovers, but also raises awareness and works to implement change for the homeless cats in Pittsburgh. Business and tech reporter Olivia McDonald has the details on this unique venture. Olivia?
Thanks, Lily and Natalie. Whisker Wonderland is a brand new cat lounge and adoption center that's located in Bellevue. People can come in to hang out, play with cats, relax, and do work. And while you're there, you might have the option to start adoption papers, which could lead you to bringing home a new furry friend.
Whisker Wonderland is a cat lounge and adoption center. This was kind of a dream of mine for a long time. Ever since I was a kid, I've always loved animals. I've always felt very close to them. I actually worked in the corporate design world for a decade, and when I started rescuing cats, everything kind of changed for me. I just felt like that was really my true calling in life, was to help animals that needed me. And this place was really created to kind of be like an escape from the normal busy life out there. It's a place where anyone is welcome. All my rescues have a story, and I love that. I think that coming here it's been magical for people to kind of see how profound and wonderful it is to rescue animals, specifically cats. This was kind of like I like to call it Anna in Wonderland instead of Alice in Wonderland. It's just like my way of showing the world my feelings and what I believe about rescue. I think Whisker Wonderland is important because I think all cat lounges are really critical right now. There's been a huge increase in cats that are on the street, especially friendly cats, not just feral cats. A lot of people have been just inundating rescues with questions and asking for help with the cats. And I think that a cat lounge is unique because it allows you to meet many cats at one time. Also nice because most traditional rescues have shelters and animals in cages, whereas here they're all free roaming, very home-like setting, so they're comfortable. So when you come to meet a cat, you're actually learning their true personality. You're not just seeing them super scared.
This Sunday, February 9th, Whisker Wonderland is hosting a Galentine's Day event where people can mingle with others while playing with cats. You can find more about this event and the Adoption Center online at www.whiskerwonderlandcatlounge.com. For Pitt to the Point, I'm business and technology reporter Olivia McDonald. Lily, Natalie?
Thanks, Olivia. And don't go anywhere because a whole new segment is making its debut right here on Pitt to the Point when we return.
We wear it with pride. Shout it from podiums.
Hail to Pitt. Hail to Pitt.
And prove it out time and time again. It's possible at Pitt. Now we have an opportunity to give these words even deeper meaning by making Pitt possible for all. Because it's not enough to just welcome one of the largest first-year classes in university history. We must ensure that every student from any background has every opportunity to pursue whatever they want to pursue. Thankfully, there's a plan in place to increase access and affordability and eliminate financial barriers for students in need, to help more upper-class students reach the finish line when they meet unseen hurdles, to go dollar for dollar, matching federal Pell Grants to the tune of more than 139 million big ones, to continue opening doors and kickstarting careers, to expand our programs, enhance our support systems, and meet our students where they are, literally, online, in the workforce, and on multiple platforms. Possibility is what drives us, but let's not forget, students are what make us. They are the ones at the center of our mission. They are the ones who will meet the world's needs. We are the ones who can make their possible, possible.
Someone a long time ago had an idea that we could change the way we do things. What if you had over 30,000 big thinkers and believers behind you and $1 billion in research to make it happen? With a will that never quits in a city connected to everything. Well, you'd probably find yourself doing something truly incredible.
Well, if for some weird reason you missed a segment from Pitt to the Point or missed the show altogether, do not worry. We've got a website for that. PittToThePoint.com has all of your favorite stories from politics, sports, to entertainment, plus plenty more. On top of that, we have exclusive articles from your favorite on-air personalities. Go check out the website today.
We'd like to introduce you to a brand new feature on season 4 of Pitt to the Point called Pitt in the Wild.
Pitt in the Wild is an audio look at life on the Pitt campus and in Oakland. A kind of look at campus that you've probably never seen.
This week's Pitt in the Wild is courtesy of a very talented senior named Kerrigan Kurtz. Enjoy Pitt in the Wild.
Great work, Kerrigan. Pitt in the Wild is a project that one of our other broadcast courses, Human Interest Stories for Broadcast, will produce throughout the spring.
The class, which is under the instruction of Lisa Johnson, one of our amazing instructors here at Pitt, will be providing great stories and features for you to enjoy. And let me just say, by the way, I am currently in the class along with a lot of other students here at Pitt to the Point, and it is fabulous.
Yeah, Human Interest Stories was my favorite broadcasting course, besides Pitt to the Point, obviously, but Human Interest Stories was my favorite. Lisa Johnson is an amazing professor, and she really knows this broadcasting industry. So huge shout out to her. Thank you so much for joining us on Pitt to the Point.
For the next 10 weeks, Pitt to the Point will be coming to you live at this same time.
You can catch a replay of the show on CBSN KDKA TV's streaming service every Saturday at 12 noon, as well as CBS Philadelphia's streaming platform at noon on Saturday.
And please go to our social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, X, and Facebook.
Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Until next Friday, I'm Natalie Silberman.
And I'm Lily Peters. We'll see you next week on Pitt to the Point.